The General Hospital preview for the week of November 17th hints Harrison Chase will set out to prove that Michael Corinthos is lying. Also coming up, Laura Collins will make a shocking discovery. Plus, Sonny Corinthos makes an accusation against Henry Dalton, and someone will pay the ultimate price for their betrayal. GH spoilers tease Sonny will face off with Nadine Turner. He'll be furious with the ADA for reneging on her agreement with Rick Lansing, and he'll place the blame for Rocco Falconeri's arrest directly on Dalton. "You and I both know he's framing my grandson," Sonny says to Turner in the GH Weekly preview. So, how will the ADA defend her actions to the mobster? Will she admit that Sonny's assessment is correct? Meanwhile, Jen Sidwell will make a menacing statement to someone who acted in bad faith. "This is what happens when you betray me," he'll say. But who will Sidwell be warning, and will he carry out his threat? The weekly preview also shows footage of some stunned faces, including Lulu Spencer, Carly Spencer, Jocelyn Jacks, and Britt Westbourne. However, no one will be as horrified as Laura. Her eyes will widen, and she'll let out a shriek. But what or who is she looking at? Finally, Chase has taken it upon himself to play hero for Willow Corinthos. And he's also sure Michael set her up for Drew Kane's shooting, so he'll decide to demonstrate that his old friend is lying. "Michael gave the police a false alibi," Chase will say, almost gleefully. "And I can prove it. But has he procured evidence against Michael and Jacinda Bracken that will get Willow off the hook? Keep watching GH to find out. At any rate, it looks like a great episode is coming up. Keep reading the Soap Scoop for more General Hospital spoilers and news. And make sure you join our free GH Facebook group. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Messy Syrup. It's me, Abby, here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching. So let's dive into today's video. General Hospital spoilers hint that Dante Falconeri may ban Giovanni Gio Palmieri from Rocco Falconeri. Will Dante insist there'll be no contact between Rocco and his bad influence brother? GH fans know this isn't the first time Gio has screwed up spectacularly on a situation that involved Rocco. Back when Rocco got drunk at that beach party, Gio didn't realize how serious it was and thought Rocco could just sleep it off. Since Rocco had alcohol poisoning, Dante was livid and lashed out at Gio for not being a responsible adult. Now Gio's about to face deja vu since he's once again let Rocco down and will face Dante's wrath. Dante was proud of Gio for the way he came to Ned Quartermain's rescue, so it really felt like a nice father-son bond was beginning to form. Unfortunately, that should evaporate in a flash after Gio confesses what he did. As the week of November 17 to 21 kicks off, Gio will come clean to Brooklyn Quartermain about being the reason Rocco broke in the lab. Although Emma Scorpio Drake obviously played a role in all this too, Gio will take responsibility for his own actions. Gio shouldn't have included Rocco or any of the other teens for that matter. It was a colossal mistake to rope Rocco, Danny Morgan, and Charlotte Cassadine in a mess that could spiral out of control like this. That said, Gio had no way of knowing things would turn out so horribly for Rocco. Emma and Gio never intended for the teens to do anything besides steal the key fob, but Rocco and the others moved ahead with the lab invasion anyway. As Gio explains all this to Brooklyn and expresses how sorry he is, Dante may pop up and overhear or simply join the discussion. Brooklyn may defend Gio a bit and try to soften Dante's anger toward him. Unfortunately, Dante is scared for Rocco right now and will need someone to blame. Considering Gio's past screw-up regarding Rocco, and now this one, Dante may insist enough is enough. Since we know Dante is going to blow his top, he could easily take a page out of Drew Kane's playbook and ban Gio from seeing his sibling. Dante may not go as far as getting a restraining order, but he could at least tell Gio to stay away from Rocco from now on. Perhaps Dante will snap about it being for Rocco's own good, since he'll feel like Gio's leading his younger son astray. General Hospital spoilers hint that Gio may face a Rocco ban, so stick with us for updates on the difficult news Dante might deliver. General Hospital spoilers reveal that Sonny Corinthos and ADA Justine Turner's pairing may be the show's latest romantic flop. Does the mob boss belong back with Carly Spencer? GH writers have been trying to push Sonny in a new romantic direction for a while now, but it's definitely been a challenge. They tried pairing Sunny and Natalia Ramirez up, but Natalia ultimately got a fatal exit when that romantic plan flopped hard. Natalia and Sunny just didn't work as a potential couple, so the show moved on by putting Ada Turner in Sunny's orbit next. Although Sunny and Justine are scheming against each other under all the flirting, they're still making a connection that'll lead to temptation. It looked like Justine and Sunny might have surrendered to that temptation before the week of November 10th, 14th ended, but no. Justine and Sunny are certainly feeling a spark, but the problem is that many viewers just don't see it. It doesn't seem like Sunny and Justine are earning very many fans on social media so far, since they're arguably bland and forced as a pairing. Of course, it's possible Justine and Sunny will find their groove somehow as this storyline moves along, but the situation doesn't look hopeful at this point. It seems like this is a case of another flop pairing for Sunny that isn't going to last long term. What happens when Sunny and Justine inevitably fizzle out down the road? Will the show try to put Sunny with some other flavor of the month and hope for a different outcome the next time around? At some point, GH writers might cave in and just put Sunny back together with Carly. Love them or hate them, Carly and Sunny have a rich history as well as many people they both care about. Sunny and Carly are always going to be connected through their children, so there's a family link here that can't be ignored. Plus, Carly understands how Sunny's world operates and will always have his back when it counts. There's no woman on canvas who Sunny can trust more than Carly, so maybe the show will finally just give up on all these other love interests and reunite them. Carly should find herself single after she brings Jack Brennan down and rejects their romantic future, so maybe she could eventually renew her romantic future with Sunny instead. General Hospital spoilers say Sunny should make some updates to his love life sooner or later, so stick with us for more news on who he'll end up with. General Hospital spoilers imply that Jen's Sidwell could have PCU professor Henry Hank Dalton murdered, and there's a good chance that Laura Collins will face the repercussions for this. The week of November 17th to 21st will be both dramatic and chaotic. With so many moving pieces within several arcs that are interconnected, it's hard not to think that Dalton's days are numbered in the land of Port Charles. Plus, it's November sweeps, and the ABC soap loves to provide shocking moments, like a murder. In addition, Dalton is an expendable character, so there's a good chance that he'll be a goner by the time the weekend hits. Dalton is foaming at the mouth for Rocco Falconeri to pay for breaking into his lab. The teen was set to get a slap on the wrist, but the PCU professor presented evidence that Rocco ransacked his lab to ensure he'd get a stricter penalty, despite Sidwell'S warning to back off. During the Friday, November 14th episode, when this new evidence popped up, Laura Collins knew right away that her grandson was being framed, and she was outraged. GH previews for Monday, November 17th indicate that Laura will lash out at Dalton, while press and media are there, flashing their cameras to get every word she says on the record. There's a fierce mayoral election campaign happening in PC right now, as Laura hopes to get re-elected. Nipping at her heels is Slimeball City Councilman Ezra Boyle, who is likely celebrating all this scandal in the mayor's life. Laura went from a huge lead in the campaign to a very narrow margin, so one more controversy could tip her over, and she could lose her role as Port Charles mayor. Fast forward to the week of November 17th, and Sidwell will issue a warning to someone that's betrayed him. Sidwell isn't one to mess around, and as Dalton has not only lagged with his research for Cesar Faison's final project, but was also resistant to Britt Westbourne taking the lead, he's officially become a thorn in Sidwell's side. Framing Rocco will be the tip of the iceberg, as Sidwell instructed Dalton to leave it alone, so Sidwell will likely do away with him. Still, as Laura is also a problem for Sidwell, who desperately wants to snag Sonny Corinthos' peers and district, he may come up with a plan to kill two birds with one stone. Sidwell would love nothing more than to have Ezra as the little town's mayor, as the counselor is on his payroll. Laura is slated to publicly lash out at Dalton, which will create a perfect storm for the mayor to get booted out of her role, while also allowing Sidwell to eliminate a liability within his operation. Ostam Bus Dalton. General Hospital's preview for the week of November 17th to 21 shows Laura screeching in horror with car keys in hand. It's dark out, so it's nighttime, and it appears that she'll likely hit something, get out of the car, and discover something, or someone, she's run over. The election takes place midweek, so this offers Sidwell a unique opportunity to get rid of Dalton, while pinning it as hit and run on Laura's part. This scenario could be the very situation that finally tips the scales in Ezra's favor and costs Laura the election. Sidwell is a master manipulator, so he could set something up where Laura hits an already deceased Dalton, where it seems like she's the one who caused the PCU professor's demise. General Hospital spoilers hint that Ezra winning the election will score a major point for Nat Team Sidwell, as the baddies of the little town continue to try and wreak havoc for the heroes, so fans will need to stay glued to their screens to see what happens next within this storyline. On Friday's all-new episode of General Hospital, a simple trip to Ava's art gallery proved to be anything but for Jordan. After witnessing Jordan meddling in Curtis and Portia's marriage for the longest time, Trina decided to strike back, and the former police commissioner didn't know what hit her. However, one thing was abundantly clear. Trina didn't want Jordan anywhere near her father, something she had no hesitation in making known. Trina tore into Jordan for the role she played in Curtis and Portia's impending divorce. Her sudden hostility knocked Jordan completely off balance, and the promise that she would never let Curtis end up with her blindsided her even more. After calling Jordan transparent as glass, Trina drove the point home. "My dad loves me, and he listens to me, and I'm gonna make sure that he never goes back to you." Jordan tried to blame Trina's opinion on something Portia must have said, but Trina shut that down fast, insisting she reached that conclusion with her own two eyes. Trina's verbal evisceration of Jordan sent viewers into a frenzy on social media, with most of them rooted firmly in Trina's corner. Many felt Jordan had this coming after refusing to stay out of Portia's business. Everywhere Portia turned, Jordan seemed to be waiting for a nugget she could twist to score points with Curtis. For a lot of fans, enough was finally enough, and Trina's newfound attitude was not just a surprise, but the moment they had been waiting for. "Trina was right about you, Jordan, face it. Nobody messes with Trina. #GH, one ex-user shared. "I don't care that Trina is acting on limited information. Someone other than Portia needed to tell Jordan how ridiculous she's been fawning over Curtis the last 10 months. #GH, a viewer wrote. "Trina girl, your parents don't want to be together. Leave Jordan alone #GH, a fan on the opposite side exclaimed. Trina to Jordan, "Watch how you speak about my mother. One thing about Trina Robinson is that she don't play when it comes to her mama #GH, a viewer tweeted. "I'm actually loving Trina's deep dislike of Jordan right now. I hope she's allowed to keep the hate flowing. She can't be nice to everyone all the time. Let her have this. #GH, one fan stated. Jordan swears Portia is obsessed with her. "Portia ain't told Trina nothing about you, girl. #GH, a fan reminded Jordan. "Watch how you speak about my mother. Get her Trina. Show you how out-of-pocket Jordan is to think she can talk crazy about Portia to Trina. BTC, are you dumb? #GH, a viewer wrote. Jordan really thinks Portia sits up with Trina to discuss her IRL. You think too highly of yourself, where Portia is concerned. Big Mama Portia don't give a damn about you. #GH, one fan shared. No matter how much people like Jordan, she's been out of line. No matter how much people forget, Trina has always been this bold and forthright, and no matter how much people hate Portia, that is Trina's ride-or-die mama. Why wouldn't she take up for her? A viewer proclaimed. Did Jordan think she'd get Trina's blessing as Curtis's new woman? GH, one fan asked. Like, imagine thinking I'm about to be mad at Trina for doing what her mother won't do, 'cause Jordan needs to hear how she's a bald-headed scallywag from somebody, a viewer said. With Trina firmly opposed to Curtis reuniting with his ex-wife, the idea of a clean reconciliation suddenly feels far less certain. Curtis was ready to take Jordan back before she revealed Portia's pregnancy, and that moment is now in limbo. He may be determined to end his marriage, but the reality of the baby complicates everything. With the pregnancy and now Trina acting as clear obstacles on Jordan's route back to Curtis, a reunion may be dead on arrival. Jordan wanted complete honesty before a fresh start, and that insistence may be the very thing that cost her her second chance. However, While it's admirable that Trina is speaking out against Jordan on behalf of her mother, she doesn't have all of her facts. What she doesn't know is that her mother has no idea who the baby's father is. Portia hasn't disclosed her intimate relations with Isaiah to Curtis yet, a fact that could be a game changer. If Curtis isn't the father of Portia's baby, the door to reuniting with Jordan becomes slightly more ajar, with Trina remaining as the only significant hurdle. Portia hasn't acted like she is open to making things work with Curtis at this point, so despite Trina's insistence, there's really nothing keeping Jordan from winning him back. Also, if Trina insists on inserting herself in arguments that don't directly pertain to her, it's possible Jordan will flip the script and reveal the pregnancy to her. Portia has done a poor job at keeping it under wraps, and with Jordan in possession of the knowledge, she could easily use it as a weapon to defuse Trina. General Hospital has managed to turn the once kind and upstanding Drew Kane into one of the most hated characters on soaps in record time. While Cameron Matheson enjoys sinking his teeth into the creepy congressman, his daughter has not enjoyed seeing the comments some fans have made about Port Charles' latest villain. Matheson's 19-year-old daughter, Layla, caught a compilation video of some of Drew's most vile moments on YouTube. While she got a kick out of watching her dad play someone who is absolutely nothing like him in real life, when Layla got to the comments section, she was in for a surprise. Layla was so upset by the comments that she FaceTimed her dad when he was working out at the gym to discuss what she was seeing. This past weekend, Matheson posted a message for fans, once again reminding them that there is a difference between character and actor. Just posting this as a gentle reminder that when we make comments on social media, these people have kids and families and friends and are real people, Matheson wrote alongside a silent video of his and Layla's FaceTime session. Remember everyone, it's just a character and I'm just doing my job. I love my job and I'm so grateful for all the support that I've got through the years, believe me. But maybe this post will help keep in mind that there's other things to consider. Caitlin McMullen, who plays Drew's love interest, Willow Tate, a woman who destroyed her entire life and family just to be with Drew, simply wrote, "Love you, Cam." Maurice Bernard, who has been playing a mobster fans either love to love or love to hate for decades, also chimed in, saying, "If you mess with Cameron, you're gonna have to mess with me, and I don't think you want to do that." Rory Gibson, who plays Drew's mortal enemy and former beloved nephew Michael, wrote, "The most kind, chill, generous guy on set. Drew has indeed angered nearly the entire GH fandom since last fall when he had sex with his nephew's wife on the floor of the Quartermain playroom the night his ex-wife died. This year, Drew has done nothing but wander around town threatening and blackmailing anyone who seemingly wrongs him. It hasn't won the character a lot of fans, but what is a soap opera without a good villain, right?" General Hospital spoilers update for Monday, November 17th, reveals that Sonny Corinthos will ask a double-cross question while Dante Falconeri's fury erupts. Lulu Spencer will also consider taking drastic action, so here's what viewers can look forward to. At GH, Britt Westbourne will snatch Emma Scorpio Drake by the arm and force her into a heated confrontation about the drama she's stirred up for Rocco Falconeri. Next, Giovanni Gio Palmieri will give Brooke Lynn Quartermain updates on his own role in the situation. Once Gio comes clean about getting Rocco tangled up in this lab break-in mess, Dante should find out too and struggle to control his temper. While Dante has a fierce outburst, Laura Collins will have one of her own. It looks like Laura will track Professor Henry Hank Dalton down and accuse him of framing Rocco, who obviously didn't trash the place like Dalton claims. There'll be plenty of bystanders with their phones out to capture Laura losing it, so this may not do any favors for her campaign. As for Lulu Spencer, she'll vent to Carly Spencer and feel like drastic action is necessary to keep Rocco out of Pentonville. Could Carly or even Lulu herself ask Jack Brennan to work some of his usual magic? Over with Rick Lansing, he'll admit to Sonny that no felony charges were on the table when he made that deal with ADA Justine Turner. Rocco also wasn't looking at any prison time, so Sonny will wonder how things fell apart. Rick won't have the answers Sonny's seeking, so Sonny will push Justine to tell him why she double-crossed his grandson. Afterward, Rick will try to make peace with Alexis Davis, since he's working on doing that with Sonny as well. Alexis will eventually have a meeting with Felicia Scorpio, who'll explain the proof she uncovered regarding Portia Robinson's bogus alibi. Speaking of Portia, she'll wonder if Curtis Ashford changed his mind and wants to make their marriage work because of the baby. Portia may think that's a terrible idea, and ultimately learn it's what Stella Henry is pushing for since she figured out the pregnancy news. Elsewhere, Trina Robinson will contemplate a confession during a conversation with Kai Taylor, but he may remind her of what's at stake and demand her silence. Kai and Trina were at Drew Kane's place the night of the shooting, but Kai will continue to think it's best if they keep that info to themselves. General Hospital spoilers say Drew's whodunit will bring more twists and turns, so stay tuned. Maura West earns major praise from her former on-screen flame, Rick Hurst Rick. And Ava may have gone from lovers to love to screw each other over on General Hospital, but life does not imitate art for Rick Hurst. GH's Rick and Ava have had sparks flying from the jump for various reasons. The chemistry between West and Hurst is off the charts, especially when their alter egos are at odds. Then again, is there anyone West doesn't have chemistry with? Seriously, Ava and Sidwell are on fire as they circle each other. Back to Hurst. The beloved actor recently stopped by the locker room where he was asked about working with fan favorite West. Hurst made it crystal clear he can't get enough of the uber-talented actress. She is delicious. She is the ice cream sundae with the cherry on top all day long. Somebody asked me to describe Maura as Ava, and this transformative thing happens. You know, Maura is she's a regular girl. She's just like no nonsense, not a lot of frills about her, very family-oriented, she's an East Coast girl, so I love that about her. He gushed like a giddy schoolgirl in a video shared to the locker room Instagram. The ABC soap star went on to add, "To watch her transform into Ava is sort of a layered thing of silkiness, and she just moves through things. She discovers, with each moment, she discovers where she's at. Whether it's the interaction or the text is telling her, or what the other actor is giving her, where she is at a particular moment. It's the most beautiful thing to watch and be a part of, 'cause she's a great dance partner. She's just an amazing dance partner." The high praise from Hurst regarding Maura had GH fans filling in the comments section of the social media share to gush over the GH stars. "Man, I love his descriptions of her acting," said one fan. Another fan stated, "What a great storyteller Rick is." A different fan gushed over the two soap stars. "Loved Rick on GL and Maura on ATWT, really enjoying them now on GH, and wish they were still a couple because they are great together." Listening to Hurst speak about West only makes us want to see Rick and Ava mixing it up in Port Charles even more. Kate Mansi is always up for some fun with her General Hospital castmates. This time, she upped the ante and took on a viral TikTok trend that The Young and the Restless star Michelle Stafford did with her on-screen son, Michael Gracide. On TikTok, Kate Mansi asked her GH siblings to help her out with a viral trend. Kristen Vaganos and Rory Gibson joined in on the fun, showcasing their ride-or-die energy. The mashup of Bees in the Trap by Nicki Minaj and What's Up by Four Non-Blondes has been a viral sensation on social media platforms. Mansi rounded up her siblings, and they shot the video outside of what seems to be the building where GH films. Gibson opened up by singing the What's Up part, and the camera then panned to Vaganos and Mansi, who picked up the Bees in the Trap portion. The places where Gibson and Vaganos were standing could have easily been swapped. Molly is definitely more laid back on GH, especially when it comes to Michael and Christina. The sibling relationship between Christina, Molly, and Michael has always been complicated. Since the three recasts joined the show, the dynamic among the siblings has evolved. Their dynamic is more adult-like, and along with that comes more adult storylines. Christina and Molly have since moved past the surrogate disaster. However, the lie about Cody finding Rick is still hanging over Christina's head. Meanwhile, Michael is facing an impossible situation as the walls around him close in when it comes to Willow and who shot Drew. Christina will do whatever she can to help him, but Molly is the ADA. They both have their suspicions about his alibi, especially after seeing Jacinda at the Quartermain mansion following Monica's funeral. Dalton might be swimming with the fishes for what he did to Rocco. General Hospital has been discussing Dalton's lab for months, but we still don't know what is going on there. Just as the story has taken center stage, Dalton may disappear. Dalton is up to no good. Emma was convinced he was doing animal testing and made it her mission to expose him. When the Port Charles teens got involved, they found no animals, but Rocco was caught. The professor is working with Sidwell and now Britt. Much to Britt's dismay, Dalton is not letting the break-in go without punishment. He is doing everything in his power, including lying, to make sure that Rocco ends up in jail. This is making his boss unhappy. Sidwell is an evil villain and does not take kindly to people telling him no, especially those who work for him. He needs Britt, for what reason we don't know yet, and she asked him to stop Dalton from pressing charges. Instead, the professor did the opposite by trashing his lab to make it look like Rocco was the guilty party. Marco immediately reported back to his father, which made him angry. The last time Sidwell received an upsetting phone call, a judge ended up floating in the river. Dalton is proving to be more trouble than he is worth, and may end up similar to the judge. This character hasn't been fully developed and has had a minimal storyline. Is it time for him to go and let the fans in on what is happening in the lab? Or should the character be fleshed out amid the reveal? Cameron Matheson turned a tough family moment into a reminder to show care when posting online. On General Hospital, Drew has been walking around Port Charles like a full-tilt Scrooge lately, cane-tapping, lip-curling, leaving a heart-attack-stricken Ned on the ground while he hobbles off with a little chuckle that's colder than the Quartermain freezer. It's a performance that's pushed viewers right to the edge of the couch, but the line between love to hate him and hate him blurred this week when Cameron Matheson pulled back the curtain on what that hostility looked like on the other side of the screen, especially for his daughter. Matheson wrote on Instagram, "Layla FaceTimed me after watching a YouTube compilation of some of my character Drew Kane's darker scenes on General Hospital. At first, she was troubled by how despicable my character was, but then, after reading the comments with so much hate and aggression toward me, she needed to FaceTime and talk it out." Just posting this as a gentle reminder that when we make comments on social media, these people have kids and families and friends and are real people. He continued with a gentle reminder for his fans, noting, "It's just a character and I'm just doing my job. I love my job and I'm so grateful for all the support that I've got through the years, believe me. But maybe this post will help keep in mind that there are other things to consider." In the video he attached, he gave a quiet, almost dad-in-the-gym debrief of what happened. He explained that he'd screen-recorded the FaceTime with Layla, but somehow lost the audio. So he walked viewers through it himself, how she'd watched a Drew horrible human being montage, made the mistake of scrolling the comments, and spiraled into that tight-chested worry kids get when the world feels too sharp. He said she just couldn't handle it. And he then shifted the conversation back to all of us. The reminder that actors have families reading along, that words land in real households, and that he hoped the reel would nudge people toward a little more care. The GH cast circled him fast. Caitlin McMullen sending love, Maurice Bernard warning, "If you mess with Cameron, you're gonna have to mess with me," and Rory Gibson calling him the most kind, chill, generous guy on set. Asher Antonizin lovingly wrote, "Cam, you're one of the coolest and kindest people I know. Thank you for everything you've taught me. It's always a blast being on screen with you." And Layla herself jumped in with, "This comment section restored my faith in the GH watchers," before her dad hit her back with a flood of hearts. Fans filled the rest of the thread with their own blend of praise, apologies, and total Drew-directed fury. One fan said he's doing the job well if you're eliciting such a strong response. Another told him the hate belongs to Drew, not the actor. And much of the general praise for Matheson revolved around the fact that he must be a darn good actor to enrage people the way Drew does. Maybe that's the part Matheson hoped would stick, that even in a storyline where Drew's colder than January in upstate New York, kindness still counts. On Tuesday, questions, ultimatums, and simmering anger collide as Carly faces Brennan, Sidwell's fury escalates, and Britt takes a stand. The General Hospital spoilers for Tuesday, November 18th focus on Brennan questioning Carly while Sidwell fumes and Britt issues an ultimatum. Carly has a lot of anger and frustration building up in her life right now. Her daughter is a WSB agent whom her significant other recruited. And she just found out that Lucas is moving in with his boyfriend. That part is okay. The part she objects to is the fact that he's moving into Windermere, which puts him in close proximity to Sonny's enemy, Sidwell. She knows the man is bad news. If Brennan is suddenly questioning Carly, he must have a good reason. Is this line of questioning personal or professional in nature? He could suspect the fact that she knows he enlisted her daughter to become a WSB agent, which could mean he also knows she has been visiting Valentine. Or this could just be about Lucas, Marco, and Sidwell. The weekly spoilers reveal that Sidwell is fuming. It could be related to the election, but there's a very good chance this is about Dalton's latest actions. The seriously pissed-off professor didn't just ensure the cops arrested Rocco. He manufactured evidence that resulted in more serious charges against Sonny's grandson. This appears to be disrupting whatever Sidwell's agenda is. He knows he doesn't want to rile Sonny up, because the man will retaliate. In GH's weekly video preview, we hear Port Charles's newest crime lord on the block say, "This is what happens when you betray me." Will Sidwell's fury push him into doing something dangerous? Meanwhile, Britt is also fuming over what is happening to Rocco. She had already told Sidwell to rein in Dalton, but his words had no effect on the professor. Look for Britt to issue an ultimatum. Is this to Sidwell, Dalton, or someone else? She will do anything to prevent Rocco from going to prison. With Rocco in trouble, Dante and Lulu will need to turn to each other for support. Expect the acting police commissioner to open up to his ex-wife. After all, he must feel beyond helpless right now. These election results could change everything in Port Charles. An important election, a jailed son, and a determined ex-husband. These are the three major moments to watch out for this week on General Hospital. It was certainly an election day to remember in Port Charles. After missing her final debate against Ezra, Laura chose her grandson over her career and attended Rocco's arraignment. But none of that stopped the people of Port Charles from voting. On Wednesday, Port Charles will learn the results of the election. Not only will we find out who the mayor is, but we'll also learn the results of Measure C and the fate of Sonny's peers. Whatever happens, look for Laura to make a shocking discovery on Thursday, while Sonny doesn't seem too worried when Michael introduces him to Jacinda. Now that Rocco's been placed in jail, his loved ones aren't backing down without a fight. They know there's something off about Dalton's story, and they're ready to prove it. General Hospital spoilers for November 17th tease that Dante, despite just being named acting police commissioner, will lose his temper, while Lulu confides in Carly. By Tuesday, it will be Dante confiding in Lulu. Could their son's legal trouble and future in jeopardy be the thing that finally brings Lante back together? That is, if Nathan doesn't get in the way when he offers Lulu a listening ear on Wednesday. Chase is continuing his streak of being too thoughtful for his own good. He's determined to prove Willow's innocence, and in doing that, he needs to prove Michael's guilty. Despite Brooklyn's clear objections, Chase continues his investigation on Thursday, and by the end of the week, he's said to have news for Alexis. But after Alexis meets with Felicia at the start of the week about their investigation into Portia, it may be Alexis who has news for Chase. In his short time on General Hospital, Rory Gibson has proven he has a lot of range as an actor. One thing he hasn't yet played is Michael Corinthos III as an action star. Gibson is showing off that part of his repertoire in a new film that will be released in 2026. The film is called Fugitive from Asteron. A new trailer was released online as the filmmakers prepare it for the American film market. In the film, Gibson is the title character, a pilot named Ariel on a fictional planet set in the year 2125. According to the IMDb description, pilot Ariel escapes tyrannical Asteron to land on the future Earth. As the scars of his past heal and he discovers life in a free world, he finds himself at the center of a plot to destroy it. Pilot Kristen helps him unravel the mystery. The film, produced by Winged Victory Foundation, is adapted from an award-winning novel of the same name. It also stars Morgan Bradley, Jam Murphy, Jim Kruger, and Dean Cain. Gibson is pictured front and center on the movie's poster, running in action hero mode. In a longer description by the book's writer and executive producer of the film, Jen LaGreca, Gibson's character is said to escape from a planet ruled by a tyrannical authoritarian played by Henry Ian Cusick, who is best known for playing Desmond Hume on Lost. Gibson's character escapes after refusing to carry out a ruthless military order. He lands on a futurized Earth and lives there, where he meets a female pilot. Meanwhile, Cusick's character is in pursuit of him and mysterious cargo that is on the ship. In the trailer, which you can see below, the cargo appears to be connected to some secret scientific research. Gibson's character pursues romance with the pilot on Earth, as well as a woman he leaves back on Asteron. In one fun scene in the trailer, he watches a baseball game for the first time. It is one of several projects the star was working on before coming to General Hospital, where he debuted in May. According to his IMDb page, he filmed a thriller called How Jessica Died, starring Mel McComb as the title character. He is also in a film called Severed Road, which stars Kane Hodder and Hank Northrup. That movie won an award at the Horror Fest International Film Convention. General Hospital has Drew Cain thinking Willow Tate still wants to be with him. But no, she wants nothing to do with Drew because Willow blames him for losing her kids. She's only talking to him in case he can somehow help her get them back and avoid prison. But soon enough, Willow is going to have to tell Drew she is never, ever getting back together with him, and then things are going to explode. We know eventually to expect huge fallout when Willow dumps Drew once and for all. After Willow's done with him, of course, Drew will eventually pursue someone new, or someone new might pursue him. Or it could be an ex. We'll see. We're going to talk about some romantic possibilities for Drew after Willow bails on him. Let's talk about what unlucky lady in Port Charles might wind up saddled with Drufus. So, once Willow finally kicks Drew to the curb, he may take just a minute to lick his wounds, and then we know obviously he'll move on. I mean, he's insane, he's immoral, and he has crazy eyes. But Drew is hot, he has a great body, and he's rich. So somebody will take him on. Let's talk about who. First, let's talk about whether he'll hit up the most unlikely of his exes to rekindle with him, and that would be Carly Corinthos Spencer. Back in 2022, Drew and Carly were absolutely scorching, and their flame may reignite after Drew finds out Willow actually loathes him and has no intentions of reuniting with him. And of course, Carly despises Drew right now. But once Willow dumps Drew on his butt, he may drop his vendetta against Michael Corinthos, and that could soften Carly towards Drew. Plus, he did go to prison so Carly wouldn't have to go. So Drew's got that going for him. I mean, Carly's gotten back with other exes who did terrible things to her, so it's not unprecedented. I think Drew and Carly make sense in a way because they do have a shared history with ties to Jocelyn Jacks and Scout Kane, and their passion was explosive. What's funny is some GH viewers actually think a reunion between Carly and Drew is inevitable. I don't feel that way, but we know Carly getting back with Drew would infuriate lots of people, especially Sonny Corinthos, Jason Morgan, and Michael. So Carly would face backlash from those closest to her. All right, there's also Nina Reeves to consider, another sort of ex. I mean, Drew and Nina would be a spicy and chaotic rebound. Drew and Nina have lots of unresolved sexual tension. Plus, they're both outcasts. Plus, it would be super creepy for him to almost marry her daughter and then go back to her. And, you know, that could be really interesting. Nina getting back with Drew would be a huge soapy mess, and fans would either love it or love to hate it. And if Willow didn't already hate Nina, she absolutely would despise her if she started shagging Drew again, or worse yet, developed a real relationship with him, which they didn't have before. I suspect Willow might vow to destroy both of them and get the ultimate double revenge. On the plus side, they might actually be good co-parents for Scout because Nina loves kids. And before, with Drew and Nina, you know, it was just sex. So they haven't ever tried a relationship, they might vibe. All right, next up, let's talk about someone new for Drew, and that would be Ava Jerome. Now that Drew is a real bad boy, a true villain, maybe he needs a partner who's equally as devious as him. So why not pair up Ava and Drew as a villainous super couple? I will admit Ava has mellowed quite a bit, but she's still one of the OG baddies on General Hospital, and Drew is downright ruthless when he feels that it's justified, and so is Ava. Neither of them have many limits on things they won't do. So, we've seen how low Drew can go, and whenever we think Congressman Cutthroat can't do anything worse, he proves us wrong and does. So, he and Ava might be a perfect fit. Plus, just imagine the chaos that a Drew and Ava pairing would cause, because remember also, Nina is Ava's best friend, and she might not like it if Drew and Ava got together after everything Drew has done to her daughter. But then again, just in terms of him as her ex, I don't think Nina would care because she was fine with Ava dating her ex-husband, Rick Lansing. So she might be like, okay, your problem. Not a good choice, but okay. Sonny would go absolutely nuclear if Ava wound up with Drew, and their custody battle over Avery Jerome Corinthos might reignite. Plus, Alexis Davis and Christina Corinthos Davis might go back to hating Ava, and their newfound peace would go out the window. Plus, Ava getting with Drew might spark some jealousy in Rick, especially if Drew and Ava were super hot for each other and got all loved up and were doing a lot of PDA. That'd be really soapy because it would tick off a lot of people and probably cause massive ripple effects all over Port Charles. All right, just for fun, let's throw Jacinda into the mix. The call girl turned personal assistant. A pairing with her and Drew could make waves. I could see the creepy congressman going after her simply because Michael likes Jacinda. So, it'd be another thing Drew could take from his nephew if Willow walked away from him for good. Which seems absolutely like it's going to happen. There's definitely a spark there between Jacinda and Michael. And even though they're faking their relationship right now, they're getting closer. I see potential for Jacinda and Michael to have something real. So, if Jacinda turned on Michael, especially to get with Drew, you know, Michael would lose it. And Jacinda doesn't want to see the dark side of Michael. And as much as he runs his mouth, Drew has no idea what Michael's really capable of. And last, but absolutely not least, let's talk about one last ex of Drew's, who also happens to be single, and at one point was actually head over heels for him. But that's also because she thought he was his twin brother, Jason Morgan. I'm talking about Elizabeth Weber, who hasn't had much of a story in such a long time. I mean, when Lucky Spencer came back and they rekindled, I was like, oh, okay, Liz is going to get a story. And a lot of the Liz fans were so excited. But then Jonathan Jackson turned around and quit the show again. And then they broke Liz and Lucky up, and she just slid into being this accessory character. So maybe GH is going to go the redemption route and clean Drew up. And if so, Elizabeth is the perfect partner for him. Being with her got Franco a lot of acceptance around town and helped reform his image. And he was worse than Drew. I mean, Franco was a legit serial killer. Maybe Elizabeth could show Drew some kindness and some sympathy if he needed some comfort. And then they got to be friends again. And then she felt that same spark that Liz had for Drew before. And of course, that was in the Billy Miller days, God rest his soul. And when she thought he was Jason, we've never seen Elizabeth paired with the Cameron Matheson version of Drew romantically. But it might work. I don't know. I think fans will always hate Drew, and they're looking for somebody to come back and finish the job and put another 2 bullets in him, and then he's done and gone and no love interest necessary. But I don't know if that's ever going to happen. Frank Valentini seems to like him. So, if Drew survives all of this, maybe he'll get into a romance with Carly, or Ava, or Nina, or Jacinda, or even Elizabeth. I mean, of all these, my money's kind of on Ava since she's least likely to be judgy. But if they want the redemption arc, it's got to be Elizabeth, right? General Hospital spoilers reveal Ned Quartermain's life is hanging in the balance, and the Quartermain family is rallying around the hospital, waiting for news of whether their whole world is soon to be turned upside down. But few will feel the threat of this loss the same way that Brooke Lynn Quartermain will. Waiting on news of whether she is about to lose her father is going to put her through the ringer. As she leans on Harrison Chase for support, it might help bridge the gap between husband and wife right now as this couple straddles the chasm created by Michael Corinthos and Willow Tate. But rumor has it Olivia Quartermain may be the one to shed some light on how Brooke Lynn is currently looking at her hubby, and it may not be the way we think. Just before Brooklyn found out her father had a heart attack, she and Chase were taking jabs at one another and having it out over their disagreement about Michael and Willow. Michael has positioned himself well in his custody case, and now even better in the case of Drew Kane's shooting. But Chase has jumped on board Team Willow, and he's growing more angry with Michael with each passing day. By the time she read him the riot act, Brooklyn was already starting to soften toward her husband. She might not agree with Chase that Willow is innocent, or that Michael framed her, but she still loves her husband's devotion to helping the people he cares about. If Chase stays by her side throughout this struggle with Ned's health, they may have smooth sailing, but if he can't help but be distracted by Willow, new problems could arise. Willow just got released on bail, thanks to Alexis Davis, and she's going to make certain that she pays it forward to Chase for all of his help. Acting as a citizen with a bone to pick on the outside of law enforcement, he has been showing up for Willow in ways that no one else has, including Drew. It was clear from their interactions when Chase came to visit Willow in jail that she was feeling a little too grateful to him. With a history like hers, it won't be long before Willow is conflating her gratitude with love. Will that throw a wrench into Brooklyn's peace treaty with Chase when she's in such a vulnerable space and worrying about the outcome of her father's bypass surgery? Brooklyn could start to question her husband's faithfulness soon, and it might lead her to think back on similar mistakes her father has made in the past. Will Olivia and Ned's marriage serve as a testament to her that she and Chase can make it through anything that lies ahead? Or will the sense of betrayal of coming second to Willow's plight in her own time of need send Brooklyn reeling? Until now, she hasn't been too concerned that Chase's commitment to helping Willow means anything more than him helping a friend, but seeing the two of them together could paint a very different picture. Who needs Chase more right now? Can the strength of her family and the understanding of just how short and fragile life is as Ned teeters on the brink keep Brooklyn holding on to her marriage even when she thinks Chase might let it go? Stay tuned for more GH news and spoilers to find out. Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you agree or disagree? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more updates. Your opinions matter, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.